How's it going, Canucks fans? David here, and in today's video I will be reviewing Game 1 of the Canucks vs Minnesota Wild play-in series and previewing Game 2 of the series, which will be happening at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:45 Pacific Time, Tuesday night, so tomorrow when I record this. So these are my game reviews. Sometimes I will do them the night of, but being from Montreal, it's super late when the games end, and considering I work 4 out of 5 days this week, it's kind of difficult to do it the night of. So I will either do it the next morning or the next afternoon, like today. But anyways, I'm just going to get right into it. Pretty demoralizing game. I was just honestly, I was so angry after the game because as Canucks fans, we've waited 5 years to see a playoff game, a meaningful game like this. And really, we didn't even see a goal. I guess I'll just recap the events. It started off pretty exciting. Both teams were just going at it, making checks. Ferland dropped the gloves. I was stressing out because he missed 55 games with a concussion this season, but he fought anyways, which people had a problem with, I saw online. I don't really care. If he's clearly felt comfortable enough to do it, and he did it to prove it to himself, I think, to his teammates, and send a message to the Wild. I like the fight. Next, Edler gets a penalty after the fourth line was buckled in their own zone for a minute. And right off the face-off, it goes to the left winger, and then back to Fiala at the blue line, and Fiala puts it right through Markstrom. And Markstrom, the Canucks MVP, has to stop that shot. He just does. Vancouver's going to win. He has to be great, just like he was during the season. And honestly, that has to be stopped. But Markstrom followed it up with another 3-4 minutes of just making big save after big save. He robs Parise. He stopped a few backdoor chances, and we're like, okay, Marky's on now. And then after that, Vancouver just gets going. Besser has his rush, a nice spin around a backhand. The Pettersson line is in the offensive zone for long periods of time. Myers has an absolute bomb of a shot, which Besser passes it to Myers at the blue line. Myers rips it. Stalock robs him. Canucks are ramping up the pressure. By the end of the period, Vancouver's out shooting them 14-12. In the second, starts off, and Vancouver just keeps it going. They're just getting chances. Even though, albeit a lot from the outside, they still had some good, high-quality scoring chances. And honestly, in the second, they had shots from better areas than Minnesota were having on Markstrom. And everything's going good, and then we get a penalty. Another penalty. And this time on the power play, Spurgeon scores. Mott kind of caught out of position. Started by Markstrom failing to clear the puck. And Spurgeon walks in and scores. Edler was trying to play goalie. It was just an absolute mess of a penalty kill. And Minnesota's up 2-0. And then Vancouver, for the rest of the period, kind of fades out. They don't really do much more. A small push in the last few minutes, but really, they kind of just fall off. And then third period comes, and Vancouver down 2-0. There's still a chance to come back. This is Minnesota, who during the season was a pretty fragile team, and they get 4 shots on goal. 4 shots on goal. Pettersson has a great chance at the end of the game. Stick shatters, which is unfortunate. But at the end of the day, 4 shots on goal in game 1 of a playoff game is not good enough in the third period. It's not good enough. It just isn't. And Vancouver loses, and Minnesota puts one away at the empty net. Spurgeon again. So we got 2 goals. Fiala 1. Canucks 0. Now, it'd be completely unfair to blame this game on Markstrom. And I see some people even suggesting that. I totally disagree with that whole thing. This isn't on Markstrom. The goals, should he had the first one? Yeah. The second one was at a rough turnover, yes, when he could have easily left it for the defenseman. But he made big saves for us, and at the end of the day, we weren't going to beat Minnesota with 0 goals. The biggest concern starts with, our top 6 forwards getting 5 shots in the game. 5 shots. Now, they had zone time, but it was just concerning that they couldn't get in and get those high danger chances. Because Vancouver wins by just getting a few high danger chances a game and finishing them. The Pettersson line, the Horvat, Besser, and Pearson line, they had to get better chances, and they just weren't. And it was really frustrating to watch. The third line, honestly, I think struggled the most. Gaudette, in his first playoff game, did not do his best. Roussel was kind of unnoticeable until he took the misconduct at the end of the game. And Ferland, I liked his game, but even him, he was just laying the body. speared the guy in the third. We're lucky he only got fined for that. But the third line struggled, and fourth line, honestly, it wasn't really on them at all. Fourth line did okay. Just penalty killing is where they struggled, and at the end of the day, we lost the game because of special teams. Vancouver didn't do enough to draw penalties. Now, Pettersson was just absolutely beat up all game. But playoff hockey, they're going to let that stuff go. What they're not going to let go is Pearson's slash to the goalie to stay locked from behind there. But honestly, even though he kind of dove on that play, still, like, when they see you slash like that, and the goalie falls, they got to call it. We didn't help ourselves out either when we took a too many men on the ice call when we had a power play coming. That was rough. But, so definitely some things that were concerning as a Canucks fan, because we were all so excited and to score 0 goals for the top 6 forwards to have 5 shots. Alarming, right? But let me tell you why we don't have to worry. What I think needs to happen for Game 2 so that I think the Canucks can get a win. First, lineup needs to change. I had no problems with the lineup going into Game 1. You know what? Virtanen was scratched. McEwen was scratched. Eriksson was the other scratch. But I had no problems with that. But Sutter is literally in the lineup to kill penalties. And the penalty kill wasn't that good. We saw JT Miller kill penalties, and he honestly looked fine while he was out there. So give Miller that responsibility. Take Sutter out. Put Virtanen in. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, take Roussel out. Put Verlin to the left side on that third line because the third line struggled. Put Virtanen in. Find another team in the league that has an 18-goal scorer who probably would have hit 20. I would have bet on it over the course of the full season sitting in the press box. I don't think you'll find one. So Virtanen has to get in there. We need his goal scoring. He hits hard, and yes, is he inconsistent? Yes. Is he inexperienced? Yes. But in terms of inexperience, he can welcome to the club because so is Pettersson, so is Hughes, so is Markstrom, so is Besser, Gaudette, Stetcher, so on. So I say you got to go Virtanen. 1. That's not going to be enough to win us a game, though. I saw this being suggested on Twitter. Clay Emo also just made a video on it. I think Lotto line has to be put back together. Besser looked good, but when he's on a line with Horvat, who's supposed to be a shutdown matchup, even though they didn't really get that matchup, but known as more of a shutdown line, it's hard for him to be dangerous. Put Toffoli on that Horvat line. He drives play better than Besser anyways. Maybe they can help generate shots for that Horvat line. He can still help out defensively. Put Besser back on the line with Miller and Pettersson. That's what I'd like to see. And then on defense, honestly, the Myers-Vandenberg pairing was the worst game I saw them play this season. Worst game. And so, I don't know. Do you go Oli Olevi? He looked fine in that exhibition game. He looked great over camp. And crap, he can't be much worse than what we saw in that third pairing yesterday. So I'd be pumped if they put Olevi in. I doubt they'll do that. But a few changes like that and just matching the lines better, because we saw Pettersson's line matched up against Eric Stahl, Zach Parise, and Kevin Fiala, and that's just a hard matchup for Pettersson, especially in Vancouver's home. They get to control that. That's Minnesota's top line. Put Horvat there. Shut them down instead of having Horvat up against Eriksson Ek. So fix that. And then, honestly, Vancouver had chances. They just got to get to the inside. I'm sure they're going to be looking at video, grinding at practices to make sure that they get to the inside more. I'm sure they'll be working on that. But you don't have to be too concerned. Travis Green said it best. The team was nervous. They were. First playoff games for a lot of guys. Pettersson, he received more attention this season than he did last year as a whole, but never that much. We saw Dumba just bullying him in the corner. Galchenyuk cross-checking him. Every player, Eric Stahl, every player on Minnesota just took shots at him. And Minnesota's a tough team. They are a tough team. Vancouver out-hit them, yeah, but it really didn't feel that way because all the big hits were Minnesota players on Vancouver. And it's going to be tough. It's tough to get real estate out there, but we have to remember Vancouver has the star power. They have the better team. If they get an early goal next game, I really think, and just a bit of confidence, things are going to start working out for Vancouver. They have the better team. They have the better goalie on paper. Markstrom just has to... If Markstrom comes back dialed in next game, which I'm confident he will, if the top 6 forwards get more than 5 shots, 5 shots, come on. They're going to do it. They're going to. I'm betting on it. And then the Gaudette line, maybe with Virtanen injected there, plays a bit better. That's already a huge upgrade from what we saw last game. And last game was not a blowout by any means. They lost 2-0 before the empty netter. And the first goal was on Markstrom. And probably they were deflated after that first goal because Minnesota just went on a run right afterwards. And then after the second goal, same thing. So, good goaltending, a bounce back up front. I think Vancouver can do it. The series isn't out of reach by any means. And yeah, I'm just interested to see what happens next. Let me know what you think, if you agree with what I would do to the lineup. And yeah, this is my first game review. They're going to be short, 8 to 10 minutes-ish. No editing. I'll just upload it just like this. And yeah, I'm going to try and do these after all the games, or as many of them as I can. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you watched, please consider liking, subscribing. Follow me on Twitter at FanVancouver. And yeah, I hope everyone's still staying safe during COVID. And go Canucks Go.